What's up, everybody? I'm back and shit has got a little bit crazy, I think it's fair to say, since I've been away. Holy fuck! I've been scrolling through Twitter for the past week on holidays whenever I've gotten a chance to look. I'm not gonna lie, I've been dipping in and out and I've just fucking people losing their minds over pre-season friendlies. Chill, people, chill. We'll go through this together, we'll have a bit of fun tonight, we'll see how everybody's feeling. I'm so happy to be back in the hot seat, ladies and gents. I've missed you motherfuckers over the past week. It's great to get away. It's great to reintroduce myself to the family and all that stuff. But I love this. I absolutely love being back on here. And I've been looking forward to it. My wife said to me, would you not take tonight off and go back tomorrow? And I said, no. The second I got off the plane, I was on the phone to Connor and I was saying, man, get me a thumbnail sorted. We need to get on here tonight. I miss these crazy bastards. We need to get on here and have a chat. How the hell are we? I am still bald. I'm still bald, unfortunately, as people have said. Maybe you were expecting me to come back with dreadlocks or something, I don't know. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I am still bald, yes, as a couple of you have mentioned. How are we all? I really am happy to be back, I have to say. I've had a great week away with the family. I'm nice, chilled, relaxed. I even look a little bit less pale, as you can see. Look at this. And I didn't even fuck around with the settings around, you know what I mean? This is me, I tell you, I worked my ass off on this tan, ladies and gentlemen. I put the work in for the first few days, got burnt. Eased it, got the tannin oil out, do you know what I mean? Put the work in. Anyway, look, there's so much for us to get through, ladies and gentlemen. So much for us to get through. Liam Barr said, can I please have a shout out? Why not, my brother? Why not? Liam, how are you, sir? Welcome. Great to have you all back. A baldy tan, Craig. I've missed you guys so much over the past week. I've been really looking forward to coming back on. Where do we start? Where do you want to start, ladies and gents? There's so much for us to get through. Let's start with a little bit of positive, shall we? We were speaking about Harvey Elliott before I went away, and he was signed, sealed and delivered when we were away. And the same day he was signed, sealed and delivered, he made his debut for the Reds, which was brilliant to see. Now, unfortunately for me, I only caught highlights of the game because I was away. But he looks a talent, doesn't he, ladies and gents? He really does look a talent. 16 years of age, a pacey, good, direct attacking winger. You don't want to put pressure on the kid again, but again, it's a very good piece of business for the club looking long term. So much for us to get through though tonight. So much for us to get through. I tried my best to keep myself and Connor to make sure that we had a little bit of content for you guys over the course of the week. I know it's not the same as us all being on here having a chat, but I just didn't want to leave you guys high and dry. So look, I'm back and I'm so happy to be here. Let me just read through some of your comments. You look fresh. I feel it. I tell you what, I said it to Sabrina, my wife. I feel mentally rejuvenated after that week away. I was flagging, but now I'm back and I'm ready to go. Good to see you with a smile on your face. Thank you. It was a great week away with the family. It was an absolutely beautiful part of the world. I've been to Turkey before, but never been to this area of Turkey. It was Dalaman. I don't know what part of Turkey it is, but it was surrounded in mountains. It was beautiful and it was just great. Elliott was one of the few positives from the game. Right, let's get straight into it. We can do all the catch up later on. People are here to talk about football. The Napoli game, 3-0. It's not great, ladies and gents. It's not great. I can't lie to you. It's not great from a single performance perspective. But there is a few things I'd like to caveat this with, if I may. Our season lasted 3 weeks, roughly longer than a lot of other teams. Now I know a lot of teams have players away on international duty to Copa America, the AFCON, the European Under-21 Championships. I get that and I'm not looking to make excuses, but Klopp has been saying we've been putting in intense training sessions, and it isn't unusual, particularly for the American game, for those players to flag and be tired because we are playing catch up and time is against us because we know the Community Shield next Sunday. We've one more game against Lyon on Wednesday in Switzerland. I'm expecting a better performance in that game. We'll have Mo, we'll have Sadio, or not Mo and Sadio, so Mo, Firmino and Alisson back, as well as Keita and Cakir for the Community Shield next Sunday, and that's going to make a massive difference as well. What are your thoughts, ladies and gents? I mean, I want to open the floor to you guys because it's your show. I want you to tell me what you want to chat about or what your thoughts are. Sky Sports has linked Liverpool, Phil and Gary's. That's mean. The man has passed away. We can't be saying that. Benjamin said, this is a joke. We need a centre-back to partner Van Dijk, midfield who can score and creativity, and a top forward cover because injuries and we're in trouble. The centre-back thing, I'm not really with you on, Benjamin, but I can understand where you're coming from, buddy, particularly around the forward area, and we definitely need cover a full-back. I can't say anything, but we do, to be fair. I'm not with you on the centre-back thing, but that's just a personal thing, Benjamin, mate, and I can understand where you're coming from. What else we got? Tan Craig on the left and a pale Craig on the right. Yeah, I prefer tan me. I feel healthier. What time did I arrive at the airport in Ireland? I got into the airport at, what time did our flight land at? About 6, and then it was an hour and 40-minute drive home. I got to my house just around 8 o'clock. I unpacked the cases because I'm a neat freak like that and I don't like shit being lying around. And then I came up and got set up and got ready to do the stream. I actually did my notes for the stream on the plane on the way home because I wanted to make sure I had a few little bits and pieces to chat about, because stuff has happened since I've been away that I've wanted to come on and talk about. Nathaniel Klein was one thing that I wanted to come on and talk about, and I will get onto that one a little bit. What's the next match? The next match is on Wednesday against Lyon in Switzerland, mate, and that's the last preseason friendly. David Newell said, is anybody else worried about the way pre-season has gone? What it showed me is that we ain't good without the front three. Step down from them to Kent, Origi and Wilson. I gotta be honest, mate, I don't think the problem only lay, and again, I haven't seen all of pre-season because I've been away, but I don't think the problem only lies with the fact that we hadn't got the front three. Now, there are some valid points around that the front three are where our defence begins, I suppose. But I don't want to heap the blame on the younger players here, because let's be fair about it. Our defence has been shambolic, and sometimes we've had 3 of our starting 4 there, and it just hasn't been that great. Mignolet made a clanger. There's no denying that Mignolet made a clanger against Sporting Lisbon. Again, though, something I'd rather happen in pre-season than in the season, and I think we're all fairly assured that he's back up at best at the club, so we don't really have much to worry about there. Yeah, I've so much my mind's racing here. I'm trying to get through everything as quick as I can. I need to just calm down. We need a winger, says Nagab. And do you know what? I'm not going to hide away from this. There's one thing tonight I want to get off my chest later on, and that's around the trademark issue, and I will get to that a little bit later on. I was going to do a video on it when I was on holidays, but I said no, I'm away for the week with the family, and I'll wait till I come back. But the forward thing, Nagab, I can't disagree with you, mate. I absolutely believe that we need another attacking option. Not because I don't think Brewster's good enough, and not because I don't think Origi is good enough, because even allowing for them to, I still feel that we're short. I don't think we can rely on Adam Lallana. I think his fitness is going to be an issue for the season. I think history has shown over the past couple of seasons that his fitness isn't there. I don't know why. I don't dislike the guy. I like Adam Lallana, but we can't rely on him. Shaqiri, is he good enough? He can do little bits. The ball he put in for Gini Wijnaldum against Barcelona was a great example of exactly what you can get from Sheridan Shaqiri, but will he do it on a regular enough basis if he called back in? Probably not. The Nicolas Pepe thing, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, I'm just trying to get through the forwards. I was always unsure on Nicolas Pepe, and I've been very honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, that I hadn't seen too much of him. But if Arsenal want him at 72 million, if Napoli want him at 72 million, and apparently the reason that Napoli aren't pulling the trigger on Nicolas Pepe is because they're apparently happy to pay 72 million for a player, but are unhappy to pay him 90 to 100 grand a week and pay his agent €5 million or £5 million. I can't remember which one it is. Now, whatever about the agent's fee, that's not really my place to comment on. I think they're all slimy bastards and they take too much money out of the game. But that being said, people in glass houses can't throw stones, and Liverpool have paid a shit ton of money to agents over the past few years, so we can't really balk at the idea of paying $5 million to an agent when we've done it ourselves. So, but why would Napoli be willing to pay 72 million for a player and not be willing to pay him 90 to 100 grand a week? That baffled me. I couldn't get my mind around that. Now Arsenal, it seems, are in the front seat or the box seat, whatever you want to call it, to go and sign Nicolas Pepe. It's because Lille are happy to take instalments. Reading something really quickly on Sky earlier on before I came on, they were talking about the fact that it was put out there that Arsenal had 45 million to spend this summer. Now, apparently, even if they got Tierney in, even if they got Pepe in, they've got Danny Ceballos on loan, and they've got that young centre back that they don't have to pay for next year, but that they've loaned back as well. So it looks like their initial outlay for this season, if they sign Nicolas Pepe and if they sign Tierney, would be £45 million, because the instalments, the way the money would be paid. So it kind of sticks within their transfer budget. Now, what I'm getting at here is, if we really wanted Nicolas Pepe, if we really wanted him, and Lille are willing to accept that structure of payment from Arsenal, we would have been able to afford him. So it kind of just goes back to what the British journalists, or the British-based journalists, said all along, is that we never really had an interest in Nicolas Pepe. You can talk about, is it Mohamed Boufassi? I think that's the gentleman's name for RMC Sport, who has maintained all along that Liverpool did have an interest. You can talk about the Lille president coming out and saying that Liverpool had an interest. I think there's another couple of European-based journalists as well. But all along, the English-based journalists have been briefed, and Melissa Reddy came out and said that Liverpool contacted them to say there was no interest, and that seems to be the case. Mr. Bufasi came out about 15 minutes before I came upstairs to get ready for the stream to say that he believes there's a bit of an internal issue. Maybe let me find his tweet, maybe, just because I think that's probably the fairest way of doing it. Although saying that now I probably won't be able to find it, but where is it? Yes. So Mr. Mohamed Bufasi said, I don't know if a player will come to Liverpool this window. Klopp wants more players, that's certain. Maybe there are things to say at Liverpool on the differences of opinion inside the club. This is what agents are telling me, but I do not want to force another denial. Now, I find it very, very hard to believe that there are arguments going on within the club about Klopp wanting players and the money not being available. I frankly just don't believe it. Now, who am I to question this gentleman? I'm nobody. I'm just going off gut feeling. I'm going off the figures that we know that the club have earned. Klopp said we have to pay our bills. That being said, he's probably right, we do. But there's no way we can't go out there and sign a player for 30, 40, 50 million this window. Of course we can. The money's there. So anyone who believes it's because of FSG not giving Klopp money, my opinion is that's simply not true. It could be maybe Klopp doesn't feel there's value in the market. It could be that they're still working on something, and that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that they're still trying to work on something. Now, I've rambled on here a little bit, but let me get your thoughts on it. Caesar Bourne said, I still believe Oxlade-Chamberlain will come good, and that will start with the Manchester City game over the weekend. I think we'll come good as well, Caesar, mate. I'm looking forward to Oxlade-Chamberlain this season because we know what he can bring to the team, mate. He's quality. Mark Williams said, I'm not panicking, but we do need an extra few quality signings to freshen up the squad and add some decent competition for first team places. Again, Mark, I can't really disagree with you there, mate. What else we got? Shaqiri is hurt, tore calf playing with Switzerland. Apparently himself and, who did I say, Keita are going to be available though. Apparently they are going to be back in training and they're going to be available for the Community Shield. At least that's what I read earlier on anyway. I believe Oxlade-Chamberlain come good from that one. Pepe is not Premier League proven. I would go as far as to say, Douglas, mate, that Pepe's just not proven full stop. He's done one good season in France where I think he scored 20, 21 goals, made 11 assists, something along those lines. And they're great numbers, don't get me wrong, but it was in France and it was in one good year. Is there a player there? Well, let's ask this. Name me a player that we've pulled away from signing that has gone on to make us look foolish. I didn't mean to aim that at you, by the way, Douglas. Sorry. I was just aiming that out to the chat. Because I was trying to think about this on holiday. I mean, I was going through the Konoplyankas, I was going through the Teixeiras, I was going through the Moses Daddy Simons, I was going through the players over the last few years that we haven't gone on to sign, but had been heavily linked with. Now, for Konoplyanka, there was a reason, and the reason probably was money at the time. And that, well, a little bit of that and a little bit of the owner of the club being a bit of a dickhead about, like, changing, moving the goalposts. But, yeah, I'm struggling to find anybody, ladies and gents, that we've been genuinely linked with that we've been made to look foolish by not signing. Now, maybe I've missed somebody and I'm happy to be proven wrong. Caesar Bourne said Zaha is what we need to rotate. He's a good player. I'm not going to lie. He is a good player. And it would be so easy for me to say that he's not good enough because Everton are linked with him and because Arsenal want him and I could just try and be bitter about it. But I've always said I'm going to be honest and I think Zaha's a decent player. Is he worth the 55, 60 million? Probably, for a few reasons. You get that Premier League proven, I suppose. You have to pay that kind of the English club tax as well. Do you have a fantasy league for the channel? We do, Shanzo, mate, we do. I just don't have the code on me at the minute. But I do have one. I'll get it ready for tomorrow night, mate, and I will post it in as well. What else have we got? It's only pre-season, guys. Just about fitness levels will come good when the season starts. To Jason Ward, which again, I totally agree with. George SPI, how are you? Thanks, mate. I'm great. I'm so happy to be back. Thoughts on Fekir joining Betis? Yes, another thing that happened when I was away, Rasmus. I'm baffled. I'm not going to lie, mate. I'm absolutely baffled. Why on earth did he join Real Betis? All I can think of is that he wanted to get out of Lyon. He wanted to change the scenery. From Betis' point of view, I get it. I mean, if they can prove his fitness and they get a good year out of him, they'll flip him and they'll make they'll double their money probably minimum in a year. So from a business perspective for Real Betis, I get it. Did Lo Celso go, by the way? I didn't see that. I know they were looking to finance that deal by selling Lo Celso. I don't know if he went or not, or where he went. But yeah, it is strange. It's more of a sideways step, maybe even a backward step, because at least with Lyon he was getting Champions League football regularly. I was reading Mentality Monsters, the book by Paul Tompkins, while I was away, and whilst I didn't get through it all, the parts of it I did get through, I was kind of left feeling in no uncertain terms from that book that the reason Liverpool pulled out of that deal was because of the knee, and it was 100% down to the knee, and there was various reasons as to how bad the knee might be, whether it was underwriters, whether it was insurance reasons, whatever it might be, but it all seemed to stem back to the knee. And Liverpool just felt they couldn't, even at the price that they got him for, what was it, 30 million euro, something like that. They just felt they couldn't pull the trigger on it by the looks of it, which, again, I have to back the club and say if they believe, the medical staff believe that knee may not hold up, then you've got to say I'd rather not sign him than sign him and have him just break down, because we've had too many players that have just broken down. Maybe Dele Alli. I don't think we'd quite sign him, to be fair. A long time ago, Dani Alves. I'd seen Dani Alves linked alright, Mark, and it would be interesting, wouldn't it? It would be a name that I would have said, let's go and get this lad, but it would be interesting. Dani Alves, I don't know what type of wages he'd be wanting, and I've seen him linked with a couple of other clubs in the Premier League. I think Manchester City, I think I've seen him linked with as well. Now, obviously, there's a connection there, but yeah, it's I don't know. Does anybody know what type of wages Dani Alves is looking for or was on? Now, somebody said to me, we don't sign players in their 30s, but it would be a free transfer. Well, as much of a free transfer as any free transfer is these days. You've got your signing on fee and stuff, agents fees, but we signed James Milner. That worked out alright. You go back a little bit further, we signed Gary Mack. That worked out alright. If Dani Alves will be willing to come in and play back up, I wouldn't say no, I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't. I don't particularly think he's the greatest defender in the world, but would I rather have him than nobody there at the minute with experience? Yes, I would. I'm going to circle back around to Nathaniel Klein, because I was starting to get the feeling that maybe we were going to hold on to Klein. That maybe Klein, he could do a job for us there, right back, maybe even left back if need be. But obviously he's done his ACL, and from what Jurgen Klopp said, if there's such a good thing as an ACL tear or rupture, then this is probably the best case scenario. Even at that, you're probably looking at 6 months. But so that means he's not going anywhere this window. Probably not in the January window either, because he won't have proven his fitness or got himself back up and running. But he may be available to us later on in the season. I know that's not really much good to us now. We're on the run up to Christmas and that, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. Dybala looks like he wants to stay at Juventus. Somebody's mentioned Dybala there. I'd seen him linked with Spurs, but obviously the Pochettino Argentinian influence there, but it seems like he wants to stay and challenge. Now, whether that's because he just doesn't fancy a move to Spurs or because he genuinely wants to go and see what the new manager can do there. Loads of people throwing good names at me. What about Frank Ribery on a free? No. Again, I could be wrong on this, and excuse me if I am wrong, but didn't Frank Ribery have a lot of injuries over the past couple of years? If my memory serves me correct, I remember him having a fair few injuries. And of course, I mean, even going into the 30s. What is Ribery? 35, 36? Fekir deal, I heard Klopp was told Alisson's available, we can't sign both. That's what we pulled off. Fekir, well, what I read, mate, was that it was about the knee. But in saying that, Max, I think maybe you have a little bit of that right, because again, I don't want to give too much away about Paul Tompkins' book, and it is a very good read, Mentality Monsters. I highly recommend it. They did say that if we had assigned Fekir, possibly we wouldn't have got Alisson. I could have misquoted Paul's book a little bit there. Again, I'm just thinking back through it. Well, I would have preferred Alisson. There's no two ways about that, because we needed a goalkeeper, and we needed a top level goalkeeper badly. Shivan said Man City will win the league again. They probably start as favourites, but on Man City, I had a little chat with Connor about this earlier on. Have they really strengthened? Now, you can throw Rodri at me and I get you, fair enough, and I know they signed that left back that they already owned, well, they had owned and brought him back in, but they lost Vincent Kompany. They could still lose Leroy Sané to Bayern Munich. Now, I don't know if that will happen or not, but let's assume Sané stays. They've signed Rodri as backup to Fernandinho. or as an alternative option to Fernandinho. Have they really strengthened? They lost their captain. They haven't replaced that leader in the dressing room. They haven't signed a centre-back yet. I'm not worried about Manchester City strengthening. I mean, they're a great side with a great deep squad. That we can't argue about, but I don't think that they've gone and taken another 2 or 3 steps ahead of us. I also don't think that we've gone and played catch-up with them, so I get that argument as well, but I'm not worried about Manchester City having taken 3-4 steps ahead of us, because they haven't done much in this window either, yet. Sell to buy has always been FSG's policy, which is perfectly fine, but not when you've just won the Champions League, got a great manager, and have a pull like never before. The truth is here, look, I could give you a couple of answers on this, Nasri, and I don't know what their policy is, mate. I mean, you didn't mention the one word that usually drives me mad there, the one phrase, and that's net spend, because net spend is complete bollocks to a certain degree, in my humble opinion. The sell to buy thing, there probably has been a little bit of a ring of truth of that. I can't deny that. We have made our biggest deals when we've sold a player on. There's also a lot to be said for going into this summer and never even contemplating the fact that we might sell one of our top stars. We knew it just wasn't going to happen. So there's a lot to be said for that. But I also get where you're coming from. We're in a position of strength now. We've just won the Champions League. We're probably as attractive as we've ever been. Is it a time to go out there and try and pull in another star or another attacking player? Probably is. Probably is. I'm a little bit disappointed on that. But the window's not over, but it's not looking like we're going to do one. So I'm a little bit disappointed on that, if I'm being brutally honest. The net spend thing, somebody mentioned to me during the week. Now, again, football finances, not my bag whatsoever. But with net spend, people, it's very easy to fucking manipulate net spend. And here's why. The simple argument to it is we've been very clever in the price we've got for the players we've sold and the price we've paid for the players that we've brought in. We could improve our net spend by paying too much for certain players and getting shit money for the players that we've sold. We haven't. Our net spend, it is small. And there is some correlation to net spend and success. If you go back over the years, I believe. Again, football finance isn't my thing, but our net spend would be better if we just sold our players for less money. But it wouldn't make any difference whatsoever to where we are. Net spend is a bit of a fallacy to an extent. Lazar Markovic is free. Massive pass on that one. It's absolutely mad the front three haven't had a break in 2 years straight, said AJ. I have the holy water out to keep them fit. Thankfully, they are quite a fit bunch as well. I mean, I seen somebody sent me, if I got it on my phone maybe, somebody sent me a list of players and the injuries that they've had over the past few years. And our front three have been quite good, to be fair. Where is it, this one? No, this was a different image actually, sorry. All in all, in this transfer window, by the way, up until July the 26th when this was done, this has been the joint quietest transfer window for Premier League clubs since 2002. There was 59 transfers done up until the 26th of July, which was level with the other lowest, which is 2010. So it hasn't exactly been a really busy window in the Premier League with regards to transfers. Gary said, let's face it guys, Liverpool are not making any more signings. It's looking that way, Gary, mate. I mean, I hope something surprises us, but it is looking that way. And how would everybody feel if we didn't? Is it the end of the world? Are people going to lose their minds? I'm hoping for a little bit more sanity than I've seen on some parts of Twitter anyway. Craig Adams said, Zaha not worth anywhere near 80 million. He flopped at Man United. And Cardiff City. Zaha? I could be completely just forgetting something here. Did he play for Cardiff? I haven't got a fucking clue if he did or didn't, mate. But I don't think the price is 80 million. I think that was the price they were hoping for. Everton went in around 55. Although the Cheng Tosin and James McCarthy, I think. So maybe with that, it might bring it up to that 80 million you're talking about, Craig. If there's no Man City, our squad would be good enough, said Jamal. I sent you guys an email if Liverpool arriving at Murrayfield. Mate, I've been on holidays. I haven't been checking any emails, nor has Connor or anybody else. So, apologies, Scotty, but it really wasn't a priority for me, mate. I was away with my family, so Liverpool arriving at Murrayfield doesn't really... Sorry, mate. I have a feeling Klopp will sign Wilfred Zaha, said Nageb. Seamus Smith said the problem is if we get an injury to Mane, Salah or Firmino, we won't win the Premier League because I can't see where the goals will come from. Sold Ings and Solanke for 45 million, which is the same as what Depay would cost. I'm baffled. You're not going to get an argument from me at all, Seamus, on the fact that we need to buy another attacking player. I'm of the same boat. Now, whether it's Depay or not, I don't know. I'd probably rather not Depay. But I'm not going to argue with you the fact that there should be money there to buy a player. Yeah, like, there's nobody can tell any of us. We're not idiots. Nobody can tell us that the club haven't got money there to go and sign a 30 or 40 million pound player. This just simply can't be true. The only thing I can think of is that Klopp doesn't feel there's value in the market, or, and this is the second option, we're working on something bigger for the long term, and they have their eye on a player, maybe for the next window, maybe for next summer, and this is what they're saving their money for, or this is a deal that they're working hard on. That's just complete conjecture on my behalf. It's complete guesswork. And what are we in? We're only 25 minutes into the show. Ladies and gents, look, as you can see, at the moment we're edging towards 18,800 subscribers. I know we've only got a week and a bit to go before the season really starts, and I don't count the Community Shield as the season really starting. So if you are enjoying the stream and you want to help us hit 20k, please do hit that subscribe button on the channel and give us a thumbs up as well. I'd like to see Ryan Sessegnon at Liverpool, said Kane. I'm baffled, mate, as to why nobody's gone in for him in this window. I'm absolutely baffled. I'd heard lots of links to him to Spurs, and they may still exist. But you're right, Ryan Sessegnon didn't have his greatest Premier League season. He had a great season in the Championship with Fulham the year before they got promoted. I think he won either Young Player of the Year or Championship Player of the Year, but didn't really push on. Now, Fulham had a shit season full stop when they came up. First Premier League club, promoted club to spend in excess of 100 million, and they went straight back down. So wasn't great for their point of view. But yeah, again, somebody who I would have expected to move on. I don't know what his transfer fee would be, but I'd imagine it would be reasonable enough. It's interesting, yeah. And a player, left-sided player who could do a job in a few positions, particularly if you were looking at it from a Liverpool perspective. Brian said we've zero interest in Zaha, so stop knocking the club for not wanting him. Graham Holmes said, hi mate, losing you in the background, you're so red. What happened? Red? Fucking brown, mate. Excuse me, Pedro. Red. I was red for the first few days, mate. Then the old tannin oil got whipped out. Fucking red. Brown, sir. Brown. Mbappe 2020, Liam Kelly said. I'm with you on that, Liam. You don't need to sell me on that, mate. Hashtag Mbappe 2020 without a shadow of a doubt. The reason why we're so persuaded is because City is so good, said Jamal Thompson. They're a very, very, very good side, mate. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Of course they are. But my opinion on City has been that I think this is the year they're going to go balls out for the Champions League. Not that they haven't before, but we know they could have a European ban coming down the line. I'm just wondering if that will distract them a little bit in the Premier League, and if that hunger and intensity can be maintained under the manager for another season. Maybe I'm just being optimistic and hoping that they have a little bit of a stutter, but 97 points to 98 last year. I mean, what a title race that was. We didn't come out on the right side of history in that one, but we did go up and win number 6. I just had to get number 6 in, sorry. Hey Craig, how are you? Just wondering who's in your team of the year and who will win player of the year. Well, player of the year, from what sense? From a Liverpool perspective, it has to be Van Dijk, surely, doesn't it? I mean, you can make an argument for Alisson, but if we're talking about Van Dijk going to win probably the Ballon d'Or, then you'd have to put him in as the player of the year. Team of the year, honestly, I haven't given it much thought, Fiona. It's something I'll scribble down though and try and get done for tomorrow, if that's okay, because it is something I probably should have done, and I will try my best to be as least biased as I can possibly be. Don't Ask said, you're right, Liverpool will bid for Mbappe. When is the UEFA Super Cup? It is not this Wednesday, mate, the following Wednesday, so it's 4 days after the Charity Shield, I believe. Wilson and Kent are nowhere near good enough. What a disappointment this transfer window has been, said Neil Anthony. Well, as I've said all along, I fully believe they're both going to be sold in this window or moved on. And we've seen the interest in Wilson heat up over the past few days. Borussia Dortmund have been linked to him. A couple of English clubs. Ryan Kent as well has had links to a few English clubs, mainly the promoted ones. Sean Mullen says Alves was on 130k. Yeah, seems reasonable on a free transfer. I don't know what type of sign-on fee he'd want on top of that, but if it's a short-term deal, if it got itself a fix for a season, why not? I know people might say then, but Craig, that goes against everything Jurgen Klopp stands for in allowing the youth to progress. Now, in pre-season, I was quite impressed with the young left-backs, but I don't know, a right-back, I'm struggling. After Kleiny, I'm struggling. Larici was very good. I know he picked up that horror challenge, which still makes me fucking blood boil to this moment thinking about it. Adam Lewis, wasn't as impressed with him in pre-season, but it is only pre-season. That's Alves. I mean, I was hoping Kleiny might have been that solution, but I don't know, maybe I'm just clutching at straws here. Maybe they're saving the money for the stadium expansion. Possibly, but again, there's different ways to finance that. And with regards to FFP and stuff like that, if we improve the stadium, that money wouldn't be included in FFP, which is my understanding of it anyway. Now, if I'm wrong on that, I do apologise, but I believe any capital expenditure on stadium improvements or training ground facilities or anything like that wouldn't be included in FFP because it's an investment in the club or something along those lines. I don't know the exact wording of it. If that's the case, then Craig, I'd go for big Killian, as he'll have 2 seasons left in his contract, which would be good. I mean, I would love him, I'm not going to lie. I would absolutely love him. You look like the colour of Everton's salmon kit. I haven't fucking seen Everton's salmon kit, but you know what? Fucking, I don't care. I'm absolutely feeling healthy, better. Got all those lovely vitamins from the sun in, so I don't care. If I look burnt, whatever, fair enough. I'm feeling happy. I think Matip was better than VVD last season. Okay, he wasn't, Callum. So there is that. I mean, it's also very important to remember here that Matip played half a season pretty much, whereas Virgil van Dijk played the entire season. But he wasn't, mate. I'm sorry. He was great. John Matip was great. Stepped up a level more than I thought he could do, to be quite honest, but he's not on the same level as Virgil van Dijk, mate. Man City's the reason for frustration because we want the Premier League so bad. Fair enough. I'm with you. Not even going to lie, Jamal. It's the number one thing I want more than anything else this season. Marquinhos, Everton, Suarez and Eriksen to Liverpool. Eriksen's contract is running out. So are his options though, Ibrahima, which is very interesting. Real Madrid, they want Pogba and they're looking like they're going to do everything they can to try and get Pogba. And it's interesting to remember here that the Spanish window I think goes on longer than the English window, doesn't it? I think it goes on towards the end of August. So they have time on their side, but Eriksen doesn't seem to be a priority at Real Madrid. United, I think, showed an interest in him, but were rebuffed. I'd love him at Liverpool. What is he, 27, 28 years of age, something like that? And I know I've probably asked that question about 5 times this summer about his age. But I think Levy might want to try and tie him down to a new deal. And if his options are running out, then maybe Eriksen will sign a new deal, or maybe he'll just go for free next year, which would be Daniel Levy's worst nightmare. Everton Suarez, haven't seen many links to him to Liverpool, if I'm being honest. Marquinhos, again, not something I've seen, but I've been away, so I could have missed it. What's your predicted top scorer and player of the season for this season, minus Salah and Salah again? I probably would go with Salah. I think, Jack, that's probably a fair shout on Salah. Mane had a great season last year and to tie him, but I think if Salah had have gotten off to a better start and wasn't still kind of nursing that shoulder injury as a carryover, then I think probably Salah would have pipped everybody in the Premier League last year. Actually, I read something again. I keep coming back to Paul Tompkins' book, but do you remember Kiev? I was going to say, of course we remember Kiev, but we all know what Sergio Ramos got up to in Kiev. I don't remember the exact thing, but didn't Sergio Ramos apparently or allegedly fail a drugs test a few months ago? And I think, if I remember correctly, in the Champions League final, and I could be wrong in this, but I think he wasn't available for a test because he was showering or something like that after the final. And apparently whatever the drug was that he allegedly failed the drugs test for, it's to improve stamina but it can also make players more aggressive. Now, we've seen the actions of Sergio Ramos over the past couple of seasons, and he's been involved in some very shitty tackles and some shitty situations, and he's had more red cards in La Liga than anybody else in the history of the competition. So I don't know if everybody knew about that, but have a read or Google up on it, get more information, more reliable information than me. It's just something I wanted to bring up because I quite frankly didn't know about it, or at least hadn't remembered about it until again reading Paul Tompkins' book. August the 14th for the Super Cup, said Pat Moynihan. Andy on the Man City channel wants to collaborate with Anfield Agenda, so get in touch. It will be good. Andy can hit me up anytime, mate. Happy to have a chat with him. Just tell him to email me if you watch him, or if he's watching this. I don't know. I'm always happy to collaborate or have a chat with anybody. The only people I won't work with are AFTV. Other than that, absolutely no problem whatsoever. Doors always open. Hope Larouci will be back up for Robertson. I like Larouci, said Sarabia. First Premier League manager to get sacked. Interesting one. First Premier League manager to get sacked. So I mean, every fibre of my being wants to say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just to be spiteful, but I think they'll give him a little bit longer. I don't think he'll last the season, if I'm being brutally honest. Even though he is a club legend, I get all of that, but I don't know actually. Just think about through the league now. I mean, Brighton changed their manager when they got rid of Chris Hughton, which I wasn't happy about. I think if West Ham don't get off to a good start, possibly there. Thinking down to the league, there's always a surprise sacking, isn't there? I mean, there's no way Sheffield United, I think, even with a bad start, are sacking their manager. Norwich's manager has worked wonders to get them up there. Villa, maybe? If Villa don't get off to a good start, perhaps. Philip Lindsay said Ziyech is a no-brainer, surely. The Everton manager or Steve Bruce. Ashley, I mean, did you see Ashley coming out during the week and kind of sticking the boot into Rafa a little bit? I fucking hate Mike Ashley, I'm not going to lie. I absolutely despise the man and the way he has treated both Rafael Benitez and the supporters of a club that he professes to be a supporter of himself. Yeah, I just wasn't happy with how he came out and spoke about Rafa during the week and just stuck a boot into a manager that worked miracles to keep that club up and had the whole fan base on side as well. Why didn't he show him the backing that he seems to be starting to show Steve Bruce? It's madness. Dean Smith is really liked at Villa. He might be, Doug. He might be, mate. But if he doesn't do well, if he doesn't come up and look like he's going to keep them up in the Premier League, Villa will value being in the Premier League more than liking their manager. I can promise you that. They worked so hard to get up there. They came up to the playoffs, obviously. I don't know. I haven't liked their business so far, if I'm being honest. Steve Bruce. A couple of people are shouting Steve Bruce to be the first casualty of the managerial stakes. It'd be such a meme if it was Ollie. Can't see it happening. To cast strength. So you guys probably remember Phil MUFC, who was like obviously a United fan who popped into the channel from time to time. Just before I came on, I was reading through some of the comments from when I was away, and he put up his prediction for I don't know if he did the entire league, but let's say the top 10. And even as a Manchester United fan, he had Manchester United finishing 9th in his predicted league table. I mean, I'd love to agree with him and I'd love to stick the boot in, but even I don't think they'd be that low. I mean, what do you guys think on United? I know this is a Liverpool show, so bear with me, but I was a bit taken back by that, because as a United fan I would have expected the usual bias that we all kind of have towards a club, and I'd see United as a top 6-7 club at least this season. Why don't I like AFTV? I don't like the way they portray their own fans, mate. I don't have anything against any of the gentlemen personally. I don't know any of them. I just don't like the way they do the fan channel or the fan cam thing and make their own fans look like dickheads. That's the only thing I have against them. I have nothing against any of them personally. I don't like Mr. Double Initials, but not enough that I would blacklist an entire channel. But we were delighted Fernandes signing away from European dominance. Well, I'll pull you up right there, mate. We fucking are. We've just dominated Europe. We've won it. So, do you know what I mean? I don't know what to say. We've been in 2 finals in a row and won one of them. We are the reigning European champions, Jake Ismit. We dominated Europe. We've done that bitch already. It's ours. We own it. I don't know what to say. If you had said Premier League, I could have said fair enough, but we dominated Europe, mate. We need a signing of world-class Keita for us to win the league. Or a world-class Keita, excuse me. I'm expecting big things from Naby Keita this year. Gamers of Sweden, mate. I really am. We didn't get to see the best of him last year for various reasons. A little bit of a stop-start season with injury. Obviously, he's still acclimatising to a new league, to a new city, to a new culture, to a new language. And I will expect more from him this year. He's absolutely class. It'd be funny if Ollie gets sacked, a gaming guy. It would be. But it would also be worrying because they might actually get a decent manager in then. And none of us want that really, do we? Surely not Bruce. I know he's not great, but Ashley leaves it late. Yeah, it would be just taking the piss if he sacked Bruce that quickly, like. Seamus Smith, we just don't score enough. We generally get a goal with Origi on. I mean, Origi's had a great season last year. There's no denying that. Long-term European dominance. Again, I'm going to bring you back to the same thing, buddy. We're actually set up and built as a team better for European football, I think, than the Premier League. So I think we're going to be doing quite well in Europe. I get where you're coming from, Jay, and I'm kind of going around in circles here, mate. I'm probably being a bit pedantic about this, so I do apologise. We are signing a 2 away from probably winning the Premier League, or making an easier job of winning the Premier League, I should say, perhaps. I get where you're coming from with that one. I was probably just being a bit pedantic, mate. They actually made me feel a bit sorry for United for a brief second, but soon I've gone back to laughing at them, said Jack's page. Okay, where are we going? Sorry, the chat skipped a bit there. Let me just scroll back up. Winning one season is not domination. We've been in back-to-back fucking finals, mate. What part of that can you not get through your head? 2 Champions League finals in a row is pretty fucking dominating as far as I'm concerned. If you don't think that is, mate, then I don't know what the fuck you want from the club, to be fair. You just seem to be a smarmy little fucker, to be fair. And if that's your attitude, then quite frankly, fuck off, mate, because I couldn't be arsed dealing with your nonsense. Wish we got Nicolas Pepe, said Ben Hall. Nabil will become a superstar this season, said Cast Strength. Ziyech's clause is 25 million. He doesn't have a buyout clause, mate. There's no buyout clause in his contract. I thought similarly, but I remember reading that it's something that Ajax, just like Liverpool, don't put into our contracts. I believe it's something that Ajax don't insert into their own contracts either. So I don't think he does have a buyout clause. But that being said, Elliot, I do kind of think that 30 million euro would buy him. What team has Sané as a sub? Nobody can compete with that. Might not be Manchester City, Jamal, if he gets that move to Bayern Munich, which him and Bayern Munich seem to really want. Stiddy and Sterling pressured Liverpool to sell him below his value. Could we get a reduced fee for Sané or Gabriel Jesus? Nah, they didn't. You think back to when we sold them Raheem Sterling, mate. 50 million quid at that time was absolutely market value for Raheem Sterling. Maybe even a little bit above. Now, again, you have to take into account inflation and the way 50 million when we sold them is not the same as 50 million now. I don't know what the rate of inflation would be. That's another Paul Tompkins question. But at the time, I remember thinking that although it was very difficult to lose Raheem Sterling, and I didn't want to lose Raheem Sterling because he's an excellent footballer, I think money-wise that was a fair amount of money for him at the time in that window. But I still didn't want to lose him. I can't deny that. Bateson got to interview Van Dijk. Fair fucks. I mean, I'm not a hater, mate. I've nothing against Bateson. The only thing I have against him is the amount of fucking people that call me Bateson, but I don't know him personally, so I've no issues with him. I don't play FIFA, so not somebody I watch or anything like that. I don't think people should be disappointed if we don't get as many points this season. Last season was a record for us after all. Well, on what Gonats has said there, ladies and gents, what do you think will win the Premier League this year? What points total? If I offered you 95 points right now, would you take it for this season for the Premier League? Do you think that'll be enough to win it? Do you think maybe other clubs are going to up their game a little bit? Manchester City have a little dip perhaps? Or quite frankly, just might be more competitive in the top 6? Mane has been excellent this season. He'll be beast next season. Completely agree. Yes, sir. Absolutely love the guy. Had a great season. How didn't anyone activate the 25 million Alderweireld release clause? It's a really good question, Jack. That did expire, by the way, in case anybody doesn't know where Jack's coming from. We've spoken many times about Toby Alderweireld having a 25 million clause. I think it expired 26th of July, sometime around then, perhaps. And yeah, like you, mate, I'm baffled as to why somebody didn't drop 25 million to bring him in for a few years. 2 Champions League finals and Europa League final in the last 3 years. That is dominance. Pretty fucking good, Tom, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It is pretty good, mate. I don't understand this negativity. Like, I'm not having to go Jay Kismet here because, I mean, I think we were, you know, I think that was partially me being a bit pedantic, as I said. But the other gentleman that came in afterwards had said, 2 years isn't really. Well, it fucking is, right? It fucking is pretty much like. Why did Liverpool not sign any players? I don't know. Come on. I just don't know, buddy. Like the rest of you, I'm a little bit intrigued, baffled as to why we haven't at least brought in another attacking player, because I don't think we're too far off. If we'd gone out in this window and brought in a backup fullback and another option, whether it be an attacking midfielder or a wide forward, I think every one of us probably would have been sitting here going, yeah, that's alright. Even if it wasn't Nicolas Pepe, even if it was a Ziyech for 30 million and let's say, I don't know, give me a fullback. Let's just say somebody like I don't want to say the young guy that went to Bournemouth, but another sort of established fullback, like a decent left back. Not even a Ben Chilwell, because I think he would have probably cost too much. Let's say a Matt Target. Let's say we just signed a Matt Target and we went out and we signed a Ziyech. I think we'd probably all been sitting here going, it's not too bad, that. Not too bad at what we have. Do you think Harvey Elliott will play a lot this season? It looks like a great signing. I can't say whether he will play a lot, Peter, but what I can say in everything that I've read is that he was brought in to be in and around the first team. He wasn't brought in to be an under-23s player, so I think we will see him in the first team squad a lot. And as I said, from what we've seen in the little 10-minute cameo, he looks like he's full of confidence. He looks like he's not afraid to have a pop. He looks like he's a good young winger, and the more of those we can get, the more good young players we can get, future proofing if you want to call it that, then that's a good thing. But it's about mixing that with the quality additions. The board turned down the teenage wage demands under Rafa. 99 points. Oh, who are we talking about here? Bobby Ball, sorry for the teenagers wage demand. Sorry mate, I've just completely missed that one. Callum reckons it's going to take 99 points to win the Premier League. I can't say it won't, Callum, because they've done it with 100 and they've done it with, was it 100 points, yeah, and they've done it with 98. So, I mean, you've averaged what they've won it with in the past 2 seasons there. So, you know, it's very difficult for me to go, nah, won't do it, because I don't think it will, but I can't, you know what I mean? History shows that if you average the last 2 seasons out, 99 points is what they've had. Danny Alves, Phil said it was. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, we were linked with Danny Alves on the Rafa Benitez, no doubts about that. Opinions are just that, said Willow. You can't force your opinions onto others and make them out to be the truth. That's it. Opinions are opinions, and sometimes on here we won't all agree, and that's okay. It's about how we don't agree or how we disagree. David Lawrence Graham said, shocked we haven't made any signings. Many successful teams have made the same mistakes and come up short the season after. Yeah, we seem to have a bit of a bad history of not pushing on. Second place finishes particularly. Look, there's a lot to be said for the squad that we have, and there's a lot to be said for the squad. A lot to be said for the fact that they will improve. They're a fairly young squad. Rafa did a great job when he was here, winning Champions League in 2005, but we didn't, like, we were the number 1 ranked team in Europe for a very long time, or for a time, but we didn't really push on in the league with our second place finish. Now, under Klopp, I think this team will improve. I think it will continue to improve, and there's a lot to be said for consolidation. There's a lot to be said for keeping your best players together. The truth is, we won't know till the season starts. It's all just conjecture from all of us, and we're all just giving our opinions in, and we're all a little bit taken aback by the fact that we've been a bit more active in this window. But at the end of the day, we should really be saving our opinions until the season kicks off. Well, no, sorry, that sounded a bit wrong. We're all entitled to our opinions. We should really be saving our criticisms until the season starts, is what I meant to say, because we haven't yet won or lost a single point. So until we know how we hit the ground, I think it's a bit harsh of us all to be really critical. Now, opinions, as I said, are one thing, but those of you who are on Twitter will know how toxic it can be on there at times. I don't hold any credence in pre-season results. None. I don't give a shit about them. It's all about getting fitness levels, trying a few things out, and we haven't had a single chance to field our strongest players yet. People will come back at me and say, but Craig, what that shows is that the backup players that we have in the squad just aren't fit for purpose. They're not up to the job. And there is some truth to that. There is some truth. I can't sit here and say there isn't a big drop-off from Mohamed Salah, Roberto Firmino, and Sadio Mane. But then again, there aren't many clubs in the world who would have a calibre of a bench that could come in and easily replace. And you're going to say Leroy Sané, you're going to say Mahrez. I get it. But City are an exception. I think people are frustrated, and I think I can understand why. Like, we're not a million miles away from almost being the finished article to an extent. But I trust Jurgen Klopp. Whatever you think about FSG, try and push that to one side here for just 1 minute. Whatever your thoughts are on the club, just think about this from a Jurgen Klopp perspective. We've seen it before. Van Dijk wasn't signed. It didn't work out during that window for whatever reason. Now, that was very public knowledge. We knew we were in for Van Dijk. We knew we'd fucked up with the way Southampton reported us. We knew we shouldn't have brought him to Blackpool and gotten him the all-day wristband and an extra large stick of rock. We knew that. So we kind of pulled away. But we've shown time and time again on the Jurgen Klopp that we will step away and get the player that Jurgen Klopp wants. If it takes us an extra window or two, so be it. And my good instinct, and it is only that, tells me that there is something happening that we're not going to pull the trigger on, I won't say subpar players, but second and third choice players. I think Jurgen Klopp has somebody in mind. I don't know who that is. We're all guessing and hoping on Mbappe, but look, that's a bit of a Hail Mary pass. I think there's somebody that Jurgen Klopp wants, and he just can't get him. And whether that's because the owners won't pay a certain amount, I don't know. Whether that's because Klopp has revealed his value there, or whether that's because the player simply isn't available during this window. But I do feel that there's something in the works. I mean, has he done anything to make us second guess him? Has Jurgen Klopp let us down yet in the transfer market with the players that he's brought in? Again, just keep pushing aside FSG for the minute. Just bear with me on this. Just think about it from Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp and the business that they've done. It's almost been faultless. Almost been faultless. And I think they deserve this grace period. But I'm not a blind sheep that's just going to follow. If we go into this season and it's shown that we've made a mistake, I'll call it. I'll step up and I'll give my honest opinions. And I'll say, well, we fucked up here. But we haven't yet. And that's all I'm trying to say is nothing has happened yet. We haven't won or lost the league. We haven't won or lost the Community Shield. We haven't won or lost the Super Cup. We've lost a few meaningless pre-season friendlies after travelling a lot, after a long season that went longer than other teams, and we're playing catch up with our fitness levels, and Jurgen Klopp has been putting these guys through the ringer in pre-season training, as he always does, and that's shown fatigue in the players. Now, Virgil van Dijk has come out and I didn't see the incident with him and Klopp after the game. I don't know what it was, but I like the straight talk, and I like the fact that Robbo's come out as well and said, look, it hasn't been good enough and the standards need to be higher. We are the champions of Europe. We are going to have a target on our back this year. People are going to want to come and step up, and every time they step on the pitch against Liverpool Football Club, they know they're playing the best team in Europe, possibly the best team in the world. And like Manchester City having the Premier League as well, although to be fair, more fucking teams seem to roll. I don't know if they roll over for them or if they just try and get a point, but either way, teams are going to want to come and have a go at Liverpool. And again, I'll refer you back to the last 2 years now in the Premier League. Liverpool haven't lost a game at home. Anfield is a fortress, like we wanted it to be. Jurgen Klopp has turned that back into the fortress that we all wanted. there's a lot of positives, but I'm not a blind sheep. I understand people are pissed off, and you're all entitled to your opinions, and I only ever ask that we're level-headed in these conversations, that we don't go too far one way and we don't go too far the other. Everybody has a right to question the club. Everybody has a right to question Jurgen Klopp. Everybody has a right to question the transfer business. It's just the way we go about it. Sometimes it can be a bit nuts. What have we got? 461 people watching, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on my first night back. I'm really enjoying it. We've about another 45 minutes to go or so. So if you are enjoying it, please do hit that subscribe button and help us try and reach our new season target of 20,000 subscribers. We'll be doing a watch along on Wednesday of the Lyon game, and of course then the Charity Shield as well, the Super Cup, and pretty much every game there on out afterwards. I have a bit of exciting news actually. I did tell you that I was going to have a chat with Mark Olbridge and see about getting him back on. Mark's on holidays at the minute. He very kindly actually messaged me during the week to wish me a nice holiday, which I really appreciated. So Mark is going to be coming on next Monday for a chat. We're going to go live at 9 p.m. And then we'll go straight into the late night agenda after that. But yeah, Mark Olbridge will be coming on next Monday for a chat. We'll be talking about the transfer window. We'll be talking about the upcoming Premier League season. And we'll be talking about Liverpool and Manchester United and what we're expecting from both clubs respectively this year. So I hope you can tune in for that next week. It's always fun having Mark on for a chat. And I really like the dude. What can I say? He's just been very nice to me, particularly over the last year, and very helpful. And anyone who thinks that, I know there are some people who still think he's fake and it's an act, and I tell you it isn't. He just is a nice fella, but he's clever in the social media game. I'll give him that one. We could all learn a lot from him with that one. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting Mark on for a chat. So next Monday, please do tune in for that one. Look lads, we need to calm down. We've a great team. We're going to improve more and more each season, says Mark Meehan. We are Liverpool. Trust in our lads, said Iranian Pride. How are you, buddy? It feels like a while since we've had a chat. I hope you're keeping well. FekirFriday is not going to happen. I know, mate. It's definitely not going to happen now. We can say it's not going to happen because he's gone and signed for Real Betis. Rob Miguel said, I agree with you. Our opponents have been treating these friendly games like finals because we are champions. Some of the fucking tackles in pre-season, and not just in the Liverpool games, some of the tackles right throughout pre-season have been shocking. I mean, Jesus, people are nuts. Apart from Brewster, which youngsters do you think could make it? Bobby Duncan looks bright. I think he's still very raw, to be fair. Brewster is a good bit ahead of him in his progression. I've got to be honest, Larouci really surprised me during pre-season. Now, it's far too early to say whether he will make it or not, but he's definitely one we should be keeping an eye on. Curtis Jones is probably the most difficult decision, I think, of the younger players that Jurgen Klopp has to make, because 2 pre-seasons in a row he's been alright. What do you do with Curtis Jones? Do you keep him in, or do you send him off on loan somewhere? Sean Lund said, miss these watch-alongs. I miss doing them, mate. Honestly, I really did. It was brilliant to be away with the family, and it was needed for all of us, because it was, I'm not going to lie, the last few months knocked bollocks out of me. It's been really tough mentally, and I needed that break badly. I mean, fuck me, I was tired. But yeah, it's great to be back on. I'm so happy to be back sitting in the chair. Graham Holmes said, if the gaffer went and bought 4 players for 200 million and 2 were flops, these foggy thinking fans would pull Klopp apart for that. Probably, Graham, probably. There's some of our fan base that I just don't think there's any pleasing. Like, we've just won the European Cup and people are moaning. Now, I'm not talking about people who have legitimate points. I'm just talking about people that are just moaning for the sake of it. And the same people that were FSG out, the same people that were even Klopp out during the season. There was a little few dickheads that were even Klopp out, and now it's the transfers, and it just seems to be these people have one thing after another, and I'm not lumping people that have genuine questions in with those people, because, you know, we're not all sheep. As I said, we're entitled to our own opinions, but there are some people who are just negative for the sake of it. Sarah, how are you? And it's great to be back. Thank you very much. You don't know if anyone will still want to come next year. If we flop, that's a big risk. Well, have we flopped, Jamal, under Jurgen Klopp yet? Or have we improved every single season, pal? So what are the odds of us really flopping? Now, I suppose what constitutes a flop, mate, I don't know. But I'm expecting us to keep pushing on under Jurgen Klopp, as we've done every season since he's arrived. He's earned my respect, and I think he's earned our trust. Well, he's earned my trust. I can't speak for everybody else. Do you miss going to the pubs to watch the matches instead of the watch-alongs? No, I never went to pubs to watch matches, mate. It's not my thing. What I did miss last season, Mark, was just the first, as I said many times, the first year in 19 years, maybe even 20 years, that I haven't gotten over to a game. It was a combination of refusing to pay silly prices and the channel starting and doing well. But if I wasn't doing the watch-alongs, if I couldn't go to the game, I'd be sitting downstairs watching it on my own. I don't like watching matches in crowded pubs like that, really. It's not my thing. But the watch-alongs have been brilliant. I love them. Mbappe Monday, said Callum. I could definitely do a bit of that one, mate. Back when Mark Goldbridge was Garky Gark, this is how we used to the party start. Yeah, I actually had that conversation with him as well. It's funny. We had a very poor pre-season, said Tajay. We did, mate, but it is only pre-season. We haven't shown put our best foot forward yet. There's no denying that, but we are playing catch up, mate. You know what I mean? I'm not making excuses, but we do have a lot of players coming back late from successful international duty. We did have a long season. We did go 3 weeks later than most other clubs because we were busy winning the Champions League, and that all has to be factored in. Klopp was under the gun when it came to getting the players fit, and I think we'll just have to wait and see how we perform against Manchester City next weekend. Even Lyon during the week. I mean, yeah, of course we hope for a more positive result, but I would happily lose against Lyon if it meant that we won against Manchester City and then won against Norwich, mate. I mean, we'd have quickly forgotten about pre-season then. Pre-season play has been brutal this year, said Liz. It has some vicious tackles going in. And as I said, I'm not just talking about Liverpool games. There's been some mad tackles in pre-season. Oh, Harold, will you relax, mate? If you sign Wilfred Zaha, you'll think you'll win the treble over Liverpool. Mate, there's more chance of me fucking growing a cock out of me forehead than there is of Everton doing the treble over Liverpool. It's just not going to happen, Harold. And I love that you love your own club, mate. That's great, but let's try and keep this in some base of fucking reality here, mate. There's no way Everton are doing the treble. Never. Every time Jordan Pickford sees the what's the phrase I'm looking for here? The silhouette of Divock Origi is the most child-friendly way I can put it. He's going to shit himself. And his little T-Rex arm going, no, not Divock, no, not again. Because he knows, and you know, and we know. When it comes to the games, mate, Everton just bottle it. And there's no way you'll ever do the treble over Liverpool in this era. It's not going to happen. And where was the treble, by the way? What was the third thing here? Because there's 2 league games. Where was this third thing? Finishing above us? It's never going to happen, Harold, mate. Never. We need more quality in our attack, said the Jay. The thought of one of our front three getting injured is scary. It is. It is definitely scary, mate. I can't deny. We should sign a central attacking mid, said Daniel. Would you rather that over a pacey forward, mate? Because, I mean, I can see where you're coming from and that, you know, low block teams, you're hoping perhaps. Again, how many times have I mentioned Paul Tompkins' book tonight? But I learned so much from reading as much as I have of it. So with say, a Fernandes, a Coutinho, that style of player, there's a reason that we don't shoot from distance as much anymore. And that reason is simply down to the percentage of goals that are scored. I don't want to get into XG and all that because I don't quite understand it. But again, Paul Tompkins' book brilliantly summarises why Liverpool are sometimes accused of playing a pass too many, or same with Manchester City and things like that. The percentage of goals being scored from distance, from shots from distance, is very, very low. So a Fernandes or a Coutinho, whilst we remember with Coutinho the ones he stuck in top bins, do we remember the many, many, many other ones that went into the top row of the stand that went 4 feet wide of the goal? Now, I'm not saying that that's why you think we should sign an attacking midfielder. Maybe there's another reason, but the way we played last season, most of our attacking play came down the flanks. And I do agree that we need more goals from midfield because, quite frankly, the return from our midfielders wasn't good enough this season. Will a specific central attacking midfielder change that? I don't know. Maybe Naby Keita will step up and we'll get a better goal return from midfield thanks to his and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's interactions. Not going to panic until we lose a game when it counts, and nothing counts until the Premier League starts, said Neil Gordon. Mark me and tell him 16 and I finally seen us win a trophy. That was the best day of my life with my dad at the pub and friends singing songs. It was class. And you'll carry those memories with you, Mark, and so will your dad for the rest of your lives, mate. And it's beautiful that you were able to do it with your dad and have that memory together, mate. And I mean, I was lucky enough to share it with Connor and Brian and Dave, and yeah, it's amazing. And it is those moments, mate, that you have to keep treasure. You have to keep in your heart and treasure, because the big moments like that don't come along all that often, Mark. And you've got to see it now, mate. And I'm delighted for you. And the same for Connor. Connor didn't really remember Istanbul in 2005 because he was fucking 6-7 years of age, something like that. So yeah, for those that did get to see the Reds win the European Cup this year and share that with their friends and their family or their supporters clubs or wherever it was that they watched it, then yeah, it's a beautiful moment. I'll never forget being on here for that Barcelona game, that 4-0 win. I had it everything. I'll never ever forget that. It's my best winning a competition memory. I mean, I suppose we did really win the competition to an extent that night, but fuck me, I'm never going to forget that. We had it all. Tears, screaming, man boobs, everything. It was brilliant. And I'm glad you had that moment and that memory, Mark, and long may we have many more of them to come. If they aren't spending 100 million on other people's money, they ain't happy, so gonads. Craig, at the match, I met a guy who was kidding to be a Red and actually a City fan, jumped up when they scored. What a sad cunt. Imagine wasting your fucking money going to watch Liverpool Napoli and being a City fan and then jumping up to celebrate when Napoli are scoring. Jesus, that's just sad. I don't know what else to say, mate. That's just sad. Has Pepe officially moved to Arsenal? No, he hasn't. Not yet, Rob. He is expected perhaps to have a medical in the coming days, but there's nothing 100% official yet. And what's the news on Kamano? Is that the young, the Ghanaian winger? Is that the guy you're talking about, mate? Because I've only read on him today, so I don't know too much about it. Subi, thank you very much. I absolutely am not the best YouTuber, mate, but I do appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Had Firmino, Salah and Alisson arrived in France? I think so. I think they were due today, yes. I can't say for certain, Callum, but they are supposed to be there for the start of the camp in France in, where is it we are? Dijon, is it? Is it Dijon or Neon or... Fuck me, I can't remember what part of France we're supposed to be in. But yeah, I think they have arrived, mate. The 4-0 winning on the channel that night, said Scotty, it was brilliant, mate. Not just for the channel, it was just an amazing night. Adam Park said, Craig, I was 16 when we lifted big ears, but nearly cried more for the Barca game. I can understand why. The Barca game came on the back of the heartbreak from Company scoring against Leicester, the frustration at going over and playing so well at the new camp and still losing 3-0, to just thinking, can we salvage a win? Can we do something here? And then we go and do what probably was the best turnaround in European history. And yeah, look, Istanbul, I know, but 4-0 against Barcelona in the semi-final of the European Cup. You couldn't write that script. It was magnificent. And to be without the players that we were without as well, and for Robbo to go off with an injury because Suarez was a snidey fucker, and to still go on and do it, and to still go on and score 3 in the second half, and for Trent Alexander-Arnold to step up and have the presence of mind for that corner, and for Divock to be able to side foot it into top bins, and for Barcelona players to just fall apart, for the great Lionel Messi to just look like a broken man, to see Philippe Coutinho and Luis Suarez, who wanted to move on from Liverpool for pastures new and to go and win the Champions League or win things with Barcelona, for them to be broken as well. It was great. It was absolutely brilliant. Iranian Pride said, I'm still watching the replay of Barcelona against Liverpool. So am I, mate. I'm probably never going to stop watching it. And I watched it again on holidays and still nearly cried watching it. Right, so Pepe. It seems as though the English-based journalists were correct about us not holding any serious interest in the player. We've spoken about that one. What else have we got here tonight? Oh yes, I said I wanted to speak about the copyright issue actually. Now on this, I want to just... Connor sent me a little bit of information on it because I'd missed a fair bit of stuff while I was away, but I had heard about the copyright issue. Where is the message Connor sent me? Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. Right, so Liverpool are facing growing criticism of their application to trademark the name Liverpool. The Champions League winners have made an application to the Intellectual Property Office which, if granted, would ensure all revenue from those services and products using the word Liverpool in relation to the club is channeled back to them. Liverpool have stressed the trademark application will only be applied in the context of football products and services, and Chief Executive Peter Moore has categorically stated local clubs using the name Liverpool have nothing to fear whatsoever. However, City of Liverpool remain opposed to the move, which has previously been undertaken by the likes of Spurs, Chelsea and Southampton. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as a football club, we're known for some pretty unique things. We're known for our fan base being different and unique. We're known for the culture that goes along with our football. We're known for the great music scene. Obviously, we know about boss nights and stuff like that, but it goes a long, long way back. We're also known for that amazing sense of humour that Scouse people have, and I'm going to include Irish people in that as well. But they're known for the creativity, our fans, and I can think of probably 10 amazing manufacturers of stuff. Hat scarf for a badge. We all know Fran from Terrace Ultra. God, there's so many others. I don't want to just name names because if I drop or forget people here. But basically, the point I'm trying to make here is this is a fuck up of monumental proportions from FSG as far as I'm concerned. They can say what they want publicly, and they can say that they won't go after the little guys, and they can say that they're only going after the counterfeit goods that are coming in and taking money away from the club. And by that they mean the fake hits that are coming in from all different corners of the world. But I don't buy it. I'm sorry. Whilst there's a threat to these brilliant creators that make this fucking amazing stuff, Love, Follow, Conquer, Hat Scarf for a Badge, Terrace Ultra, as I said, so many other amazing fucking... I'm just trying to look at my phone now because I don't want to leave people out because I'll feel like an asshole. Who else we got? Blood Husky Clothing as well. So many other amazing suppliers of Liverpool t-shirts. Very creative in the way they go about stuff. These people can't be just snuffed out. And the word Liverpool relates to a city. So with Spurs as an example, it's not a town. Now I know that there are examples of towns being used here, but Liverpool different. They pride themselves. I say we. I probably shouldn't use the word we. I'm a fan, but I'm not a Scouser. The city prides himself on being different. This is a massive fucking slap in the face to all those brilliant providers of fantastic merchandise, and the threat of having the word Liverpool, just a word, in any football context used against them and having that money funneled back to the club is a piss take as far as I'm concerned. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'm not 100% up on it. But I also don't give a fuck about whatever promises the club make to them. Now, I know with regards to... sorry, bear with me. I need to pull this up on my phone. I know with regards to the City of Liverpool side of things, I need to just get the wording of this. That they said that they will grant them the right to use the name in perpetuity. I believe that's the phrase. But that's great for City of Liverpool, and I hope that they do get that. But I've seen the impact that the threat of this has already had on these great local manufacturers of amazing quality products. And like, let's also be quite frank about this. As much as we love a lot of the Liverpool stuff, the club do make half a lot of shite as well. I mean, they don't have their finger on the pulse when it comes to fan culture and what people want. And there's a reason why Fran and Love, Follow, Conquer and Hat Scarf for a Badge do so well. Is because they have their finger on the pulse and they know what fans want. And they make products that are unique and distinctive and creative and very symbolic of Liverpool Football Club and their fan base. This really angered me, and I would hate to be in their position, and I really feel for them, and I hope to God that they don't go after them. But I also hope to God that the club don't get this trademark. I don't know if you guys disagree with me on that, and I don't know if you have more information than me on that one, but for me, it's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can understand why they're fuming and scared, because they've worked hard. They've worked really, really hard to build these brands for themselves. And it goes hand in hand with fan culture. They're not trying to undermine Liverpool Football Club. They're not trying to rip off the football club. They're not making moody Liverpool shirts and selling them. They're making creative fan merchandise that we all love. And they should be allowed to thrive and develop. And the club can't at one hand look at the cop and sell the cop as a vision. And then with the other hand, take away from them. Because that creativity that's shown by the flags and scarves and banners on the cop is taken away then because it uses the word Liverpool, and the club are happy to make money off the fans from that regard by pitching them out there. And then when it comes to them using that creativity to have little local businesses, even if they say they're not going to go after them, for them to have that threat over them is complete horseshit. And I hope you back these guys, and I hope you get behind them, and I hope you let them know how much you like their stuff as well, because I'm sure a lot of you have bought merchandise from all of them. And I don't know, I'm probably rambling here, but I'm fucking fuming at this from their behalfs, because it is wrong. Yes, the club should be able to go after people that are making moody kits or bringing them in. I get that. Any business would want to protect themselves like that. But this just seems a little bit excessive. When you're talking about trademarking the word Liverpool or copyrighting the word Liverpool in any football context, that seems a bit over the top to me. Pat Moynihan has said people will lose their jobs over this. It's crazy. Simple solution for FSG, hire them, said Willow. But would they have that creativity then, Willow? That's the thing. I mean, their creativity and their freedom to produce what they produce. Some of the stuff they produce is probably a little bit too tongue-in-cheek for the club at times, but as fans, it's exactly what we want. Hello, Happily Eggs. How are you, mate? Will said he agrees 100%. Just spotted this live feed now. Opinion on lack of depth. Klopp's toughest task is strengthening whilst maintaining the same chemistry in the dressing room. Added a big name forward might ruin that. I appreciate your input, Trevor. Thank you, mate. Spot on, Craig, said Brian, with regards to, I think, the merchandise stuff or the copyright issue. If you're not a Liverpool fan, you're welcome to the chat room. Please do not disrespect. Of course, everybody's welcome in. Liverpool fans, non-Liverpool fans. As Iranian Pride has said, all that we do ask is that you just respect the people in the chat. Ridiculous, said Daniel Royal. Did you hear about a body being found at El Neni's house in Egypt? I did not, but if a body was indeed found, then of course your thoughts would immediately have to go with that person's family, or towards that person's family, I should say. Stephen Byrne said Liverpool earned about 250 million this year. Transfers another 30 million. Surely a Ziyech, Chesney, Fernandes could be bought. Those three players together would be about 100 million. Stephen Powell, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I believe that we can definitely afford it. I'm trying to give a massive benefit of the doubt here and saying that they're working on something else that might not be possible in this window. But that being said, yes, I absolutely see where you're coming from. They could trademark LFC, fair enough, but not the word Liverpool, Craig. It's ridiculous, said Bernadette Farrell. I mean, immediately, and we don't use the word Liverpool in our channel name, nor do the Anfield Rap, of course, nor do Redmen TV. But what if there was another channel that was like Liverpool Fan Forum or something along those lines, and they built themselves up to 200,000 YouTube subscribers, and they were selling a little bit of merchandise, and they were doing a few bits and pieces, and they were, doing well, and they'd spent years building themselves up there straight away then under pressure and worrying about everything that they've built up because the word Liverpool in a footballing context had been copyrighted. It seems crazy. It seems to go against everything the fan culture stands for and this brilliant new environment of fan culture that we have. And I would class the Anfield Rap as probably the greatest fan content provider of any of the clubs in the UK. I mean, I think what they have done has brought fan content onto another level. And the club are happy to now interact with them and do stuff with them, and rightly so, because they deserve that to happen. But then to take away from the other side, from the likes of Love Follow Conquer, or to put pressure on hat, scarf and a badge, that's fucking shambolic. Big Man Steve here said it's your birthday tomorrow. Well, happy birthday to you, buddy. Many happy returns. The copyright only covers the name. It doesn't cover the creativity. It covers anything that the word Liverpool is used in Willow in a football context. So if you put Liverpool on a t-shirt and it has a picture of a football on it, then that money could technically be sent back to Liverpool Football Club. That's the wording of it that I can gather. And it's why these guys are so worried. I'd really like to sign Zaha, but to be honest, he's not worth 80 million. So Anthony Cronin. Redman TV is better just because I really don't watch the Anfield Wrap. Hey, look, Redman TV are great. Don't get me wrong. Redman TV are absolutely brilliant as well. My personal opinion was only because I'd probably listened to more of the Anfield Wrap, because before I ever started doing any of this stuff, and even when I did do it, I had my Anfield Wrap, my top player subscription, and it was one of the best £5 a month I ever spent. Redman TV is the greatest, hands down. Well, they're second best to us, mate. Let's be fair about this. I'm only joking. Redman TV are brilliant. Yes, I said I don't think this will stop people making and selling merchandise, but I would question the hierarchy as they need to win the league before jumping on the trademark BS. I just think there's just no need for the trademark BS thing. Look, you could give them the benefit of the doubt and say that FSG have no intentions of going after, let's say, Love, Follow, Conquer or Hat, Scarf and a Badge. Fair enough. They may well have no intentions of it. But what happens if the copyright is granted and FSG sell up in 2 years and we get an investment capital firm that come in and buy Liverpool, and they don't give a fuck about Love, Follow, Conquer, they don't give a fuck about any other small manufacturers out there, and they just want money and they just go after them. I mean, FSG might have the greatest of intent in the world, but this opens the door for the future, and this opens the door for stuff to happen down the line. Even given, as I said, the benefit of the doubt to FSG on this one, it leaves the door open for future owners or future fuck-ups, basically. Again, you're going to get people who are far more qualified to talk about this than me, and I'm still playing catch-up on all of this stuff, but it's just something that really, 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 I just thought was a real own goal at the wrong time. Farwell said, like Coca-Cola, they can trademark the artistic presentation of the word, but other people can use the word Coca and Cola. Trademark and copyright are not the same thing. What's the guy from the Anfield Wrap with the glasses? I met him yesterday. Neil Atkinson? Is that the guy you're talking about? Neil Atkinson is brilliant. Try to copyright Anfield or the cop and it's war, said man with the plan. How was my holiday? It was great. Thank you, Anthony. It was really, really good, mate. Alpha G said, if I tattoo Liverpool on my arm and make a video, can they claim that? No, you're not going to make any income from that, buddy. It's only the income they'd be going after. Well, they could go after, excuse me. I have to be correct about what I say because I don't want them coming after me. Palace wants 60 million for Zaha from 108. The offer that's gone in from Everton column seems to be 55 million in cash. Check Tosin and was it James, what's the fucking guy's name? He's so irrelevant I can't even think of his name. What's his name? James something. I can't even think of his name at this moment in time. But yeah, 2 players and 55 million seems to be the offer at the minute. Happily Egg said, I don't see how Liverpool can be copyrighted. As a name, it's used worldwide on streets, towns, areas of towns. It's only from a footballing context, mate. They would only be getting the copyright for a footballing context. So anyone that uses the name Liverpool in that context to make money, they could potentially be gone after and the money taken away. What channel's the Community Shield on? I haven't checked. I'd imagine it's on Sky though, Mossy, but I haven't checked. Here's an example of some of the things they can't copyright, said Farroyle, and he has put a link in. Thank you very much, sir. Guys, we are only a few away from 18,800, so if you're enjoying the stream, please do hit that subscribe button. We want to try and push on towards 20k for the start of the season. Not going to lie, it kind of was our goal during the summer. I never mentioned the goal, but it would be lovely. So if you are enjoying the stream, please do hit that button. James McCarthy, thank you. Yes, you guys know I have a memory like a fucking sieve at this point. October, how are you? Welcome back in. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're keeping well. Did you decide what to do? Oh, I thought you were talking to me there. Did you decide what to do with your hair? And I'm thinking, I'm fucking bald. You cannot copyright your name, the title of your post, or any short phrases that you use to identify a work, said Farrell. I don't think that BBC will be showing the Community Shield, Callum. I'm not sure about BT, it could well be, but I'd be amazed if BBC show it. Again, I could completely be wrong. I haven't checked into who's showing it yet. BT Sport is coming together with Sky Sports. Only in Ireland, Mossy. It's not happening in the UK. So for those that don't know what Mossy's talking about, over here in Ireland now, BT are going to be, their packages are going to be sold by Sky. So they've done this thing where if you already have a Sky Sports package, you can upgrade to add BT Sport for £10 or €10 a month for the first 6 months, and then €20 a month thereafter. I think you get all the BT channels, you get Premier Sports, and I think ESPN as well. I'm not sure. There is a package as well for non-Sky Sports subscribers, but there you go. Just a quick word on it in case anybody was worrying what Mossy was talking about. It's only based in Ireland. Seeing Woodburn to Oxford on a loan move, said FG Mellon Gaiman. Pedrino should be signed. He's better than Pepe and available for 25 million. He's very talented and would improve Liverpool, said Ibrima. Thank you very much. City 4, Liverpool 0. Fucking brilliant, mate. Well done. We're just going to start naming random scores now that none of us have a fucking clue about. Right, I'll go now. Liverpool 7, Manchester City 4. There you go, mate. There's my one. Because we're just going to start naming fucking random scores for the sake of it, then why not? Will Liverpool FC TV show the Community Shield? No, they won't, mate. BT Sport 1, said Callum. Thank you very much, buddy. Big Man Steve, should I get BT for free? How is that? If you're in the UK, mate, then yeah, on BT, obviously, and with your broadband or whatever. But in Ireland, I used to get it for free with Air on my mobile, but Air lost it to Sky now, so. I just went to check what channel it's on and confirm it's on BT Sports at Anthony Cronin. Thank you to Anthony and thank you to Callum for checking that one out. Who do I want to sign? I wouldn't mind Ziyech, but I would be lying if I said he was top of my list. I'm baffled that nobody's gone in for Timo Werner in this window. I'm absolutely baffled about that. Same with Ryan Sessegnon, that somebody brought up earlier on. I'm completely befuddled by why nobody's gone in for him. Dybala I would love at Liverpool Football Club, if I'm being honest. I think at 80 million that is probably market value for him. Certainly if you're looking at Zaha for 80 million, then I mean for me I'd have Dybala over Zaha. I would have liked Fekir, but as I said, didn't happen. Must have been the knee. Pepe I don't know enough about. They're probably my answers, if I'm being honest. Obviously I want Mbappe next year. I'm not going to lie about it, but it's pretty unlikely it's going to happen. If we get slapped by City next week, Liverpool fans will explode. Fair enough. I mean, probably would happen, mate. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say something now that I can back up by asking you guys to go back and check previous streams if you want, but the Community Shield is the least of all the trophies I want to win this season. I want to win every fucking trophy, but if we lose the Community Shield and we put in a good performance, I'm not going to be too arsed, if I'm being honest about it. I would rather win the Super Cup and get 3 points against Norwich, but of course you want to win every competition you're in. I just don't feel we deserve to be in the Community Shield, quite frankly. Didn't win the league, didn't win the FA Cup, didn't get to the final of the FA Cup. I just don't think we should be there. Am I doing a watch along for the Lyon game? Yes, mate, 100%. And I can't wait to do it. I'm really looking forward to it. The 2 games I missed while I was away frustrates me because I love to be on here doing watch alongs. I think your channel name is safe, Dave. I think you're alright, mate. Hands off the Dybala, we need him at Spurs, said Adam Phillip. It'd be a good piece of business, mate, for Spurs, not going to lie. And as I said earlier on, it could have been the Pochettino Argentinian influence there, but again, I read a story today that Dybala wants to stay and fight for his place, but you never know what's going to happen. We're doing a watch along, 100%. Watch along of the game against Lyon, watch along of the Community Shield, and hopefully every game. Now, the only games that we might not be doing live watch alongs of yet And I can't confirm this because I'm not sure what way it's going to be set up. But as I said to you guys before I went away, myself and Connor are going to Florida in September from the 13th to the 20th. And we're going to meet up with the Tampa Bay Supporters Club, the Orlando Supporters Club. And we're going to watch games with those guys and film content. Although I'm not sure if we can do watch-alongs because of the sound of the pub. So not just the crowd sound in the pub, but the TVs in the background. That would get us done for copyright infringement. So they could be, and by those two games it will be Newcastle and the first round of a Champions League game. They're the only two games that might be in trouble this season for watch-alongs, but everything else you can be pretty much guaranteed we're doing watch-alongs. What's the point of the Community Shield? To raise money for charity, mate. We're guaranteed 2 trophies, UEFA Super Cup and the World Club Cup. I don't know if we guarantee them, Callum, but I'd love it. The World Club Cup is the only competition I think we haven't won yet as a club. And I'd love that sexy gold badge that Real Madrid have on their shirt. So I wouldn't mind one of those on a Liverpool shirt. And yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be a great start to the season, wouldn't it? To win the Community Shield, say, which I really don't care about, but it would be nice. And then to go on and win the Super Cup. And then in October then to go on and win the World Club Championship. Isn't it October? It is October, isn't it? I keep getting mixed up with October and December. Which month is it? Somebody let me know. My mind's gone here. Maybe I'm still on Turkey time, but for me now it's 1 a.m. because I'm 2 hours behind. Well, ahead, but time's just changed back. Spent a week getting on Turkish time and now I'm back on Irish time. Years a long time, Craig. There'll be a whole new crop of star players by then, said Happily Eggs. Yeah, the thing is we'll be monitoring them because we don't make transfers in the space of a month or two. Any player that we're going after, we will have been watching and monitoring and checking their background and looking at all aspects of them for the past year, 18 months, maybe even 2 years. Holiday was great, thank you, Alfie. Really, really good, mate. December, thank you. I'm absolutely, my brain's probably just still zapped. I probably should have had some sleep, but I missed you fuckers too much, so I wanted to come on and say hello. Craig, we'll have to ring up Sky about the BT Sport thing. Will we have to? Yes, Mossy, you do, mate. The packages are available from August the 1st and the prices are released. I'm actually going to ring them myself tomorrow to order it. December 5th, 11th, 18th. Thank you so much, Callum, mate. Really appreciate that. I don't think he was really spamming. He put in December twice because I asked what month it was in. He's not really spamming. Oh, you were joking. Sorry, Willow. See, my head's up my arse. Apologies. What country did I go to? Turkey. Like, went over to Turkey. It was fucking brilliant, quite frankly. It was amazing. The most beautiful. I would go as far as to say, actually, yeah, the part of Turkey we were in was one of the most beautiful parts of the world I've ever had the pleasure of being in. Stunning. Why doesn't Liverpool sign young talented players directly from Brazil? It's usually because of work permit issues, mate, in the UK. So what tends to happen is they would go to countries like Portugal, where a lot of Brazilian players would have dual nationality because of the Portugal influence there. And some countries' work permit issues or work permits are a lot easier to gain access than the UK, which is why when we signed that Alan Rodriguez de Sousa guy, we couldn't get a work permit for him because you have to hit certain criteria. And I don't know if that will get easier or harder with Brexit, but the reason is because of work permit issues, mate. So if, say, Liverpool were to buy in young up-and-coming players from these countries, they'd probably have to loan them out to Europe until they got more experience or until they got more international time and stuff like that. Did you pick up any snide kits? Lucas had a good time. That's all I can say. Yeah, of course we did. Fuck's sake, mate. It's in Turkey. Of course, the young lad got loads of them. I think he picked up 9 kits or something over there. Starting secondary school in 5 weeks. Really excited, said Anthony. And you'll love it, mate. Are you going to... Well, actually, sorry, I don't ask you that question because it's a personal thing, but you'll love it, mate. Going to the Community Shield soon would be nice one, mate. Delighted for you. I hope you have a great day. I really do. I have to get to Wembley at some point. I've this thing about visiting stadiums around the world. I haven't not gone to a game at Wembley yet. I really do want to get there at some point. Besiktas kit, no. He being really honest, and don't hate me for this because they were his choices. He got the green goalkeeper's kit with Alisson on it. He got the new third kit. He got a Real Madrid kit because he got a pair of Adidas Superstar shoes and he wanted something to match it. He got the PSG home and away kit. He got a Barcelona home kit. He got a Barcelona goalkeepers kit. I can't even fucking remember what other ones he got, to be honest with you. How did he get a work permit when he was 18? Jesus, was it Jesus? He must have been an exceptional talent or something, mate, because there are exceptions and ways you can get work permits. If you can prove the player's an exceptional talent, if he's played X amount of games for a club ranked high enough in the world. I don't know the exact ins and outs of it. My nephew's going next Sunday. The sods left me and taking my dad. I hope he's a good day. I know you would have liked to have been there, Willow, but I hope he's a good day. I've been to Wembley, but it wasn't nice when we lost 4-1 to Spurs, said Anthony. I just want to go see the stadium, mate. Wouldn't mind going to a game in Spurs' new stadium. Preferably a Liverpool away, obviously. Hope you enjoyed your holiday. I'm going to Maramis with my family in 2 weeks. I was about 20 minutes away from Maramis, actually, Subi, and I was chatting to a lot of people on the flight back today who were staying in Maramis and they absolutely loved it there, buddy, so I'm sure you'll have a great time. Brexit will mean that immigrants will only come to the UK depending on where they can work. Well, it depends where they come from. It's a very blank statement, mate. Brexit, I mean, immigrants have to come in and pass their home office requirements or whatever it is from anywhere outside of the EU at the minute. So, look, I'm not even going to pretend I know UK immigration law, but I don't know if it'll get harder or easier with Brexit. I might go to the new Everton Stadium. Yeah, the one that will just, they keep showing lovely fucking flashy images of, but there's yet to be a single spade put in the ground or litre of water drained out of the dock. And no, absolutely no United kit, Peter. Jesus, no. That definitely wouldn't happen. Although there was a United kit bought, but that was my daughter buying it for her friend who unfortunately is a Manchester United fan. Wembley can suck my balls, says Mr. Brian Morrissey. I used to work in sporting events and I've been to Wembley so many times I'm sick of the place. I've around 50 plus Wembley passes, said John Cable. That's class, mate. Nice one. The Millennium Stadium, or the Principality Stadium I should say, I want to go to. I'll probably go there for a boxing fight, actually, to be honest. Wembley I want to go to. I've been to the new camp. The Bombonera obviously want to go to as well. Just like football. I want to go to Dallas as well to see the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. I want to go to Atlanta to see the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Brilliant, happily eggs. Jesus got a work permit for walking on water. Yeah, you mean facts are facts, mate. Right, ladies and gents, I'm going to call that a night. I'm flagging. I'm starting to get tired now. It's been so much fun coming on and catching up with you all. And as always, I will be back tomorrow at 9:30. Probably a little bit better prepared than I was today. I just wanted to come on and play catch up with everybody and say hello. As always, if you've enjoyed the stream and you haven't subscribed, please do hit that button and help us on our march towards 20k. It's been a pleasure catching up with you all. I missed you during the week. I really did. I missed coming on here and our little chats. Don't know what else to say. Look, I'll end as I always do, my friends. Take care of your families. Tell your loved ones that you love them. We've won it 6 motherfucking times. Up the Reds.